3, 2, 1, admit all. Namaskar everyone. Welcome to the first annual show of Shilpa Shastra. We will just wait for a couple of minutes to allow others to join. In the meantime, if you're joining us for the first time, we would love to hear where you're joining us from. And if you're here to support any specific individual, any specific artist, please do enter that in the chat. It's going to be fairly short group, small group, so you can unmute and also talk to us. Once the presentation starts, we will request everybody to go on mute. So when the participants and the artists are speaking, it's only them who are audible. But right now, feel free to turn your cameras on or use the chat window to tell us where you're joining us from and who are you supporting today. Or if you're supporting all of us, that's even better. Hi, Rashmi. I see. Okay, good to have you, Rashmi. Thank you for joining. I would start by telling everybody where I am from. I am from Seattle, a place in the Washington state, which is in the northwest region of the United States. And I'm joining everybody from there, from my home office. My home office has been taken over by my husband, so I have been sent to the guest room. So I'm joining you from my guest room. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thanks, Rashmi. Nice to see you here.
Dridha, would you go next and tell us where you are joining us from?
Yeah, sure. So I'm joining in from Udupi, Karnataka, India. I've been here for a few months now, so getting acclimatized to Indian weather, and yeah, very happy to be here with you all.
Wonderful. Suprija?
Hey all, sorry, my video is not working today. I'm part of the Kathit team, and it's so nice. So many of you all have joined us today, and I'm also eagerly waiting to see every artist work. Big fan of Dridha sir, always been, it's like magical for me whenever I'm in the same space with him. So
Thanks, Supraja.
Thank you, sir.
And you're joining us from?
I'm joining from Virginia.
Yes, Virginia.
Yeah.
Lavanya, you want to go next? We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes and have others join in.
Sure. Hi, hello everyone. Good morning or good evening. I'm joining from New Jersey, and yeah.
And you are a participating artist. So.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Yes, Amrita? You are all the way from across the globe. You must tell us.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. I'm joining in from Australia, from Sydney, to be specific, in New South Wales. Yeah, I'm quite excited about this.
Yes, and Amrita is also one of our participating artists, and she's just had a baby, so we are very, very glad she's still able to continue with her art journey and be here with us today.
Thanks. Thank you, Deepthi.
Archana.
Hi all, I'm joining in from Houston, Texas. Actually, Katy, it's about 30 miles from Houston, it's the suburb. So I'm also a participating artist, and I'm really happy that you all have come in today to support us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Archana. Pranit?
Hey everyone, I'm a high school senior from Naperville, Illinois, which is really close to Chicago, and I'm really grateful all of you guys came to watch our art. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. Pranav?
From Naperville, Illinois, and I'm a high school senior as well. And I'm also happy that
There is a little glitch in on your side, Pranav. Would you just type it? If you don't mind, can you just type it out? Thank you. And anybody else wants to tell us among the audience where you're joining us from?
Yeah, hi Dipti, this is Shanmugam. I'm joining from Chicago. I'm a great fan of Druda and a fan of your artwork as well. So glad to see all that being shown online. Uh, uh, Expecting a great artwork today.
Thank you, Shanmugam. Very nice of you to be here with us today.
Thank you.
All right. So I think we can get started. Um, uh, Supraja, if you could just keep an eye on the waiting room and admit them as
Yes.
and when they join. Thank you.
I'll-
So welcome, everyone. We are here celebrating the very first annual showcase of the artworks that are created by the students of Shilpa Shastra, who have been very skillfully trained by the distinguished artist, Mr. Drirvrata Gaurik himself. This is our very first showcase of the artworks that they have created in their own studios on over the online classes, and we are very, very grateful to all of you who are present here to support them. We will start today's ceremony with an invocation song, and for that we have Lakshmi Lakshmanan. She is a distinguished Carnatic vocalist who is based right here in Redmond in the state of Washington and gives classes and gives performances around here in the community and outside. And we are happy to have her here, and she is going to start with the invocation. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you, Deepti. Yeah, I want to present invocation song on Lord Ganesha because Ganesha is the god that we pray to whenever we start anything new. We invoke him for bringing us good prosperity, good luck, and everything good and prosperous for everyone. Today I chose Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka. It's a composition by Sri Purandaradasa. I chose this song because it's in the language Kannada, and I chose this because Dhridaji hails from Karnataka. So I thought this would be very appropriate. And I also like this particular kriti a lot. It's bright and it's also very pleasant to hear. So yeah, I'm just going to do Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka today. Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Parvati Tanaya Muruti, Sharanu Parvati Tanaya Muruti, Sharanu Shikavahana, Sharanu Parvati Tanaya Muruti, Sharanu Shikavahana, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka. Nitila Netrana Devi Sutane Nagabhushana Priyane, Nitila Netrana Devi Sutane Nagabhushana Priyane, Tatila Tagita Komalangane कर्णकुण्डलधारणे तटिलताडित कोमलाङ्गने कर्णकुण्डलधारणे शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु विद्याप्रदायका शरणु सिद्धि विनायका कुक्षिमहालम्धरणे इक्षुचापन केलिदने कुक्षिमहालम्धरणे इक्षुचापन केलिदने पक्षिवाहन श्रीपुरन्दर विठलन निज दासने पक्षिवाहन श्रीपुरन्दर विठलन निज दासने शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु विद्याप्रदायका शरणु सिद्धिविनायका. Thank you, Deepti, for this opportunity. It's really a grateful, very happy to be part of this, where Dhridaji is also there. I'm a big fan, and I wish all the artists loads of good luck, and I'm looking forward to see all their artwork.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you. That was really nice, very, very soulful, and what a great start. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lakshmi. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Dhridaji.
Next, I would just introduce me and introduce our school. I am Deepti Agrawal, the founder of Deepti Designs and Corporation, the only organization registered in the state of Washington that practices and preaches Indian traditional visual arts. As part of the incorporated organization, we run a school of Indian traditional visual arts, which primarily started with short format workshops and long format curriculum course in Madhubani painting in the year 2015, and has recently, over the past 1.5 years, expanded curriculum classes to 3 other classical and folk art forms, which is Shilpa Shastra, Patachitra, and traditional digital classes. Our non-profit arm, Kathit, which Supraja Ganesh is the co-founder of, which I'm sure most of you would have had close connections with at some point of time, brings forth short format workshops in forgotten and less heard of folk arts. These are taught by only multi-generational or authentic practitioners of the said traditional art. And in the last 1 year of our existence, we have already held over 20 workshops in 10 unique and ancient art forms, which are very well accepted and attended by about 1,000 people across the globe, collectively. Today, we are here to celebrate those 6 artists who have successfully completed first year of training in their Shilpa Shastra curriculum course, taught by the distinguished Shilpa Shastra artist, practitioner, and educator, Mr. Dhrivrata Gaurik. I want to talk a little bit about the art pieces that they created very briefly, and they themselves would talk in detail about each one of them. They were encouraged to design and create one complete composition based off the training and the training that they received in the classroom. This particular piece is not something that they have seen before, but it is their own composition based on the elements of Shilpa Shastra that they learned in the class. So when you look at the pieces, you would understand that these are compositions by themselves. And the other piece is something that was their favorite and that they learned in the class, which they have tweaked a bit. So those are the 2 pieces that each of the artists is presenting. Let me introduce you the actual hero of today, Mr. Dhrivrata Gaurik now. He learned classical arts for several years in South India from renowned iconography masters and has established himself as one of the leading experts and teacher of the Vedic iconography. He has traveled the world exhibiting his works and conducting classes with the aim to introduce and promote the ancient art form. Dhirvrata's works are in various private collections around the globe, and his students are also spread far and wide. Welcome, Dridha.
Thank you, Deepti. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough, so I'm sounding a little rough. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and to be presenting the students' work. They've all made a lot of progress, and I'm very happy to see, their gradual progression in the traditional arts and their interest to keep going with it. So thank you all again for being here. You're on mute.
Oh, I just realized that. Sorry. And with that, without much ado, let us call upon the first artist who's ready to present her pieces. We have with us Amrita Shankar. I would be sharing my screen.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Amrita.
Sorry.
I would be sharing my screen and projecting your painting, so when you talk, people can see what they look like and which piece you're presenting.
Yeah, perfect.
Let me know when you can see it.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Amrita. So I've been learning Shilpa Shastra from Dhridavrata, and I also practice Kerala mural. I learned it from another great guru, Sasi Edaward, from Kerala. So these are the two things which I would like to specialize on. So yes, that's my brief art journey till now. And yeah, so moving on to the particular composition that I've created here, it's about Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra is the elephant, and he in his previous birth was a king called Indradyumna, and he had a curse from sage Agastya to be turned into an elephant. He was an ardent devotee of Mahavishnu in his previous birth. So then one day when he came into the forest, and then he looked into a garden which was filled with lakes and lotuses, and it was filled with golden lotus, and there was a crocodile there who caught him, and then there was a lot of fight between the two of them, and that continued for 1,000 years nearly. And then he realized his previous birth and his devotion to Mahavishnu, and then he made a small offering by taking a lotus from the pond and then prays to God. And then Mahavishnu comes and with his Sudarshana Chakra over there, which I've showed in golden, the Sudarshana Chakra, and he granted him moksha, and the crocodile as well, released him from the crocodile, and then granted Gajendra moksha as well, because that's what he wanted. So that's the brief story about it. And the verse that I've picked up down is from Srimad Bhagavatam, it has a whole chapter of the Gajendra moksha, where the Gajendra, the elephant, makes how he prays to God. But I've just picked just one particular verse which I liked, and then I had put it there, like how he describes Mahavishnu and things like that. So yes, so I've depicted the three mountains. It's the garden is in the middle of three mountains. So I've put the mountains, and for Sudarshana Chakra, obviously that's what saved Gajendra. So I've depicted that. And then to show that it's a garden, I've put the floral arrangements over there. And for the lake, there's lotus, there's swan there, and then there's water. And then obviously the Gajendra and he caught by the crocodile and his offering as well. Yeah.
Very nice, very beautiful, and what a beautiful storytelling.
Thank you.
we will.
Yes, this was quite an interesting challenge that I gave the students, that they had to come up with not only a composition combining different elements that they had already learned during class, but also to be a little creative in how they come up with the composition, not to just copy what they've seen in other places, but to try to be a little more creative. So in this case, Amrita, she was very creative in how she depicted the Gajendra Moksha, because it is kind of a popular theme. But just showing the Sudarshan Chakra by itself rather than having Vishnu, but just having the symbol of Sudarshan was a very nice idea. And, adding in all these other elements that she learned, the swan and the flowers. And then, of course, she's a big fan of the verses, so she added a nice verse. Whenever we have some project, she always finds some, I don't know how she does it, but she'll find a verse that's related exactly to that project. So it's very nice to see that effort. And that's one of the important things that I ask the students to do, is to spend time to research their subject, find descriptions maybe in Shastras, find references from temple carvings, but again, not to copy what's already there, but to come up with something unique. So Amrita did a very nice job in this one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dridha. And yes, Amrita, without a doubt, a very, very beautiful piece and very nicely depicted. And this Sudarshan that you have depicted, let me also tell everybody that so far the students have not progressed into learning the anatomy of humans. So Vishnu, the form of Vishnu, is yet to be taught in the class, but there had to be some representation of Vishnu. So she chose the Sudarshana to as a representation of Vishnu, and they have already covered the geometric shapes and the symmetry and proportions and all of that. So she used all that skill taught in the class to represent that. So very, very well done, Amrita, again on this piece. Let's move on to the second one here. Yes.
Yeah. So this one is actually.
Sorry. Just a second again. There we go.
So this one was also like so we were taught Hamsa, which is the swan. So what I thought of doing is this one was inspired by the verse from Lalita Sahasranamam, which has Muni Manasa Hamsika, which means the Lalitambika, the goddess, is described as floating or swimming in the minds of sages, like a hamsa, which swims in the lake, like so calm and so peaceful. So that's how they describe in Lalita Sahasranamam. They describe the goddess in various different forms. So this particular one, it says Muni Manasa Hamsika. So Muni means sages, Manasa in the mind, and Hamsika, like they compare how the goddess is in the minds of sages to a swan which floats in the lake. So that's what I've done here, which means like the background I've given like a temple setting to show that like the mind, I represent the mind as a temple. So it's often described that way in our Vedic scriptures, that our mind should be like the temple, and it should be like an inverted lotus, and then it's when you meditate it becomes like that. So that's why I've put the lotus and I've put like a temple background to show that it is the mind, and the center one is the Hamsa floating. So to represent that, just like the Hamsa floating in the lake, like this goddess, in our mind, floating in our mind, kind of thing. Yeah, that's the idea behind this piece.
Beautiful. Again, very, very pretty. And I see a Kirti Mukha right there at the top.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, you generally find the Kirti Mukha in the temples, right? On the Prabhavali, they say, so there's a Kirti Mukha there. So, yeah, try my best to bring out a temple feel. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is also something that besides teaching just the forms of the different animals or symbols, we like to also talk a little bit about their context, the meaning behind them, because everything that you see in a temple generally has some significance, some meaning, usually philosophically or some story behind them. So Amrita did a really good job of bringing out the sort of inner meaning of the Hamsa, which is very nicely done.
Lovely. And I would like to tell the audience that if there are any questions, you can either drop them in the chat or just make a note of it at your end. Once the presentations are over, we have good about 10 minutes for the question and answer round. And we as artists love to hear from you, your questions or any observations or any comments that you might have. So please do that. Please write it down or put it in the chat and we would address each one of them. So yes, thank you so much, Amrita, for those beautiful pieces. Both of them are unique and we can see you have incorporated very beautifully a lot of elements that you learned in the Shilpa Shastra classes. So well done and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Deepti, for creating a platform to learn and explore ourselves. And obviously, I'm so grateful, and I consider myself blessed to be a student of Dridhavrata. To be honest, yeah, that's great. That's the greatest blessing. So yes, so thanks to
Thank
the
you,
two of
Amrita.
you.
Yeah, Amrita is a really dedicated student, I have to say, considering now she just had a baby and she still manages to make it for the classes. So we're very happy to have her here, and she's made a lot of great progress. One thing I've noticed is that apart from having maybe a little bit of experience in art before joining, interest is probably the major factor in people like students' progress. So she has a lot of keen interest. She really goes a little bit beyond sometimes the project, and yeah, it's very nice to have her as a student.
Thank you so much. Nice to hear that from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrita. We will move on to our next artist, Archana Kishore.
Hi all. I started learning Shilpa Shastra. This is the first form of art that I started learning. Going forward, I would also like to learn Sanchi, the art of paper cutting, which gives a sculpting element so that I can incorporate both with Shilpa Shastra and Sanchi to make it look, give it a look, a 3D kind of form to the drawing as well as whatever I'm doing. But I'm still learning, so it's a long way to go. I'm actually very honored and thrilled to be here today. To begin with, I want to express my gratitude to Ms. Deepti and Ms. Supraja for initiating one of a kind of virtual exhibition. This is the first time that we are attending this kind of an exhibition. And my teacher, Dridhavata, for his dedication and the ability to nurture our creativity and always encourage us to express ourselves in class and any form of activity. He gives us the homework to come out with our own ideas. So he makes us think and come out of our shell and to express ourselves on paper. So that's really great. And I want to thank everybody else who have taken out time from their busy schedule and have come in to support us. Thank you all. So I call my art as Prakriti Chakra. To begin with, Shri was the first workshop that I attended with Dridhavrata. And so I wanted to start with that. So at the center, I have drawn Srivatsa and Shri inside Padma. So on the background, you can see that I have written Shri Suktam, explaining she who is having a beautiful smile and who is enclosed by a soft golden glow of fire and who abides in the lotus and has a color of lotus. It's also called as the lotus kundalini. So keeping that in mind, I kind of drew the chakras. The first chakra has all the ayudhas and I filled it with blue color representing the universe. So Shri is actually protecting all beings with her ayudas And since we learned some more ayudhas in class, so I just incorporated every one of them. You can see Shankh, Chakra, Trishul, Vajra, Ankusha, Gada, and Pasha and Shakti. These are some of the ayudhas that we learned in class. And the second chakra, I have the swans representing, it's a symbol of purity. And just to make it, the Vanya Jivi, the plants and animals, that we learned in class. So I just put in all of them in different circles, representing Shri, who is, protecting all beings from evil and destroying all the evil. So just also representing the life, cyclic kind of life where, there's birth, death, and it goes around. And in the final chakra, I have the flowers and leaves. There also I've chosen Padma, just to be in connection with what I have. The main theme was Shri. So I just chose a lotus as the theme on the last chakra as well. And I tried to incorporate an aura all around the picture.
Deepti, we can't see the picture.
Yeah, I tried to incorporate the light colored aura, representing positivity all throughout. And without any spiritual guidance, there's nothing that is possible. There's always a positive energy that is around us who keeps us going, is what I wanted to represent.
It's beautiful, Archana. When I looked at the piece after you submitted it, it looked like a mandala. But
Yeah.
when you explain it is when we understand the deep-rooted knowledge and the way you have planned out the composition with so much of thought and research. It's gorgeous and very, very beautiful. And very beautifully explained, very beautifully composed and thought out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Archana's done really well with this one, combining many elements. When I first gave the brief on what the project would be about, I had said maybe one or two or three, different elements could be combined together, but she went a little bit beyond that, which is nice. And she's done a really good job of putting everything together and making it very cohesive. And also the color combinations were nice. And most of the elements really fit well with the theme of Shri or Lakshmi. And I really like the outer yellow, that aura that she was trying to make as well. Did you talk about the mantra as well, Archana? The text that you have?
Yeah, I did. I just gave an Actodia at the beginning of Shri. She who is having a beautiful smile and who is enclosed by a soft golden glow of fire and who abides in the lotus and has the color of lotus, also called as the lotus kundalini. So in the center, you can see that I did Padma with the golden chakra like all around. So
Yeah. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, the symbol all the way in the middle, that triangle symbol, is a sort of abstract form of Lakshmi Devi, Shri, and that's generally how it's shown on Vishnu's chest. Sometimes it's shown as a spiral, a lock of hair, but most of the time in South Indian art, on temples, carvings, and paintings, you will find a small triangle on the upper chest of Vishnu, and that represents Shri or Lakshmi. Yeah, great work, Archana. Very nice.
thank you so much, Nida.
Thank you, Drirha, for that extra explanation. It totally adds more meaning to what Archana has done. It's beautiful. We'll take a look at the other piece created by Archana. And I'm so sorry about the glitch in my computer. Only when we are presenting is when all of this happens. This is the other.
Again, Yeah, this is again Airavata. I just put in a temple pillar where you can see when you enter a temple, sometimes at the corners of the temples, you see all these elephants stuck to the pillars. So I just kind of wanted to put the elephant in between a pillar and make it look like a temple pillar. That is all.
Thank you, Archana. It's beautiful. And yeah, we are getting very, very kind compliments in the chat. I'm going to share the chat with all of you. And at this point, let me also encourage everybody to visit that webpage where the actual show has been put up. Supraja, if you can put that link there, there is a guest book. If you could also sign the guest book during or after the presentation, it would be great because that is what is for keeps for all of us. So we would keep that and we would go back and keep reading it. With that, thank you so much, Archana, for presenting the two beautiful pieces. It is full of meaning and a lot of concept. It shows that the research you have done behind is deep rooted, and you're presenting it and translating it very, very beautifully on your paper. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, Archana has done a really great job. She's made some really good progress as well. She's usually very quick in finishing her projects and classwork. So I'm always feeling like I have to catch up to her rather than the other way around. But it's nice to see that, you know, enthusiasm and really interest to want to learn more. So she's really come a long way. So I'm very happy to have her as a student.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Druda. I always look forward for the classes. I'm like eagerly waiting for the class to start. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Archana. And with that, we move on to Lavanya.
Hi, hello everyone. Good morning or good evening. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, I would like to thank Drida for teaching me this form of art. I've always been keen on art, portraits, and detail-oriented art from childhood, but I have never known about this form of art until I came across the Navtala workshop. That was the first time I learned this form, Shilpa Shastra art from Drida, and it actually it was absolutely great, beautiful experience for me, and I wanted to learn more and more about on it. And I also took the following workshops, the Shri workshop and the Shiva workshop, and I was absolutely thrilled about all of those. And I started the curriculum course with Rida, and it has been a great experience over the past year. It not only is just something which helps me to learn and be close to my culture and heritage. It also gives me a lot of peace, and it's like a stress buster for me always. And I kind of go into my own space when I'm doing all of this. Like I never know the time when I'm working on all of these art forms. And coming to my artwork, this is my first submission, which I have named it as Samanvita Shakti. The center of this art piece is Trishulam, which represents the Rajas, which is energy, Tamas, calmness, and Sattva, which is salvation. And it symbolizes the strength, protection, and purity to us. So on the left side of the Trishula, I have made Damarukam, which symbolizes that the universe is always expanding and collapsing, and it's expanding again, and that is the process of the creation, which is also held by Shiva. On the other side of the Trishula, I have axe, which represents no fear while fighting the evil, which is also a weapon which is used by Shakti or Parvati. So basically, with this form of Trishula, the Trishula is a weapon which is used both by Shiva and Parvati. And basically with this form, I wanted to show it as like Ardhanarishwara form, which manifests the balance of creation and equality. The glory of Ardhanarishwara basically expands with Nandi and Simham as partners. The essence of the power within the Shiva is represented by Nandi, and the power of Parvati is represented in Simha. And this is the root of the creation and the expanse of life. That is the quote I have at the bottom in Telugu, which reads Ardhanarishwara Mahima Nandi Simham Todai Vistarinche Srushtiki Moolam Jivana Prastaram, which means the essence of the glory of Ardhanarishwara expands with Nandi and Simham, and it is the root of the creation. And all of this composition is represented within the Makara Toranam, which is very which we see commonly in a lot of sculptures or around the deities. I have makaras on either side and Kirtimukha in the center. And I wanted to feel like we are looking at a temple scene. That's why I have the pillars on either side to show the to get the feel of the temple, basically. And that's all I have in this picture.
That's a lot in that one picture, Lavanya. What a beautiful, beautiful composition. And it is Ardhanarishwara. That picture is Ardhanarishwara. The way you explained, it's wow. I'm mesmerized. I was listening to you and I was looking at it, and every little symbolism, iconography has so much of meaning and so nicely placed with such great and deep thought. Very, very well done, Lavanya.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I second what you said, Deepti, that she's really gone beyond with the symbolism, bringing in all these different elements for that one core idea, which is the Ardhanarishwar. So using, of course, the elements that she's already learned, but then adding a little bit more to it with the meaning and the temple, the architectural details at the back. I remember when she first showed me the sketch, I was like, "Ooh, that sounds quite ambitious." But she really, she was really confident in her idea. She really researched it well, and it's come out really, really nice. And it's always nice to see the students take time to be creative, to look at their subject, to come up with the meaning behind it, to try to put all the elements together nicely so that it's a very cohesive composition. And yeah, Lavanya has done a really good job. And also the description in Telugu below, describing this whole form in a verse is also a nice addition. So yeah, great job, Lavanya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lera.
Lavanya, we'll move to the second piece.
This is a piece which we learned in class. This is Srivatsa, and Srivatsa is meaning beloved of Shri or Vishnu. This represents Lakshmi, which resides on the chest of Vishnu, and I wanted to incorporate the blue and pink, which the blue again, which represents the universe, and the pink, which is the pink is basically I wanted to show it as sitting in a Padma or a lotus. That's why I added that circle around with the pink lotus petals, and that's what I have here. and I wanted to show the star in the center from the Lakshmi Yantra with the golden dot in the center. The Lakshmi Yantra, which also shows the same, the blue and pink triangle in the center with a golden dot, which is a part of the yantra. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lavanya. Again, a very, very beautiful composition, and how pretty. We had seen Srivatsa just a while back when Dridha explained what it is, but then your explanation about lotus petals, pink lotus petals around it to show that Lakshmi is sitting on a lotus or in a lotus is so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, she's done a really nice job here of, taking something that she's already started from class and then just adding a little bit more to it to make it a more finished piece. And she was pretty flexible with my feedback. She changed the color of the background, which I told her was a little too bright, and she was very quick to do that. Another thing I want to mention about pretty much all the students is everyone has their own working schedule. A lot, I guess most of them are all working, or at least the two boys are studying. So very busy schedules, but they all manage to make it for class and do their homework and really be there to learn, to be part of the process. So it's very nice to see, because not all of us have the opportunity to stop everything we're doing and just focus on our studies. So to be able to balance these two, work or studies and learning another art form, is quite challenging. So they've all done really great. Lavanya, she's also working. Many times she'll say, oh, I'll be 10 minutes late, but she's still there, somehow. So I'm very happy to have her as a student as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita. And I always appreciate the feedback you give. Like when things I don't see, you always, when you tell me that by changing this, it gives more, it adds to the beauty of the piece. It definitely does that. And also whatever the details you ask us to add in the drawings, it's definitely something which which maybe I don't think of myself sometimes, and it helps me a lot to keep that in mind for any of the future pieces which I work on. Like when I think about the colors now, I understand it a little better after our discussion on the colors which I have used here. So it's always very helpful. And
I'm happy to hear that. I'll give more feedback from now on.
Absolutely, I love that. And I would love to thank Deepthi and Supraja for organizing this workshops and the curriculum course. I'm really blessed to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lavanya, for your continued support and for your interest. Like Dridha said, all it takes is interest from one's part to be able to practice the art form that we practice. So wonderful and great job. It's beautiful and so much of meaning behind every piece that you have created. It's surreal. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And next we have Pranav Bhuvan. And I must tell all of you that the next two artists are actually seniors in high school, and they have their college apps happening right now. They still could take out time to participate in the show, which itself is great commitment from their end. So yeah, wonderful, you both, Pranit and Pranav. We are going to watch their pieces and listen them speak, but I just wanted to also focus and harp on this point that they are schoolgoers, and they are in the process of doing their college apps, and to have taken time out and be part of this show despite all that is commendable in itself. Go ahead, Pranav.
Thank you so much, Deepthi, for introducing me and providing me this platform to show my art pieces on. And most of all, I would love to thank my teacher, Mr. Viveda, for teaching me everything that I have learned throughout the last year. As before then, I had experience in art and he really helped me develop my artistic abilities and skills. So with that being said, I would like to first talk about my first piece. So this piece took a bit to research, and I really wanted to focus on the Trishul as the main part of the drawing. So the creature at the top of the arch is the Kirtimukha, which is commonly found in the Hindu temple architectures, and it really symbolizes one's own ego and the cycle of time, and it's the guardian of a temple, like warding off evil. The creatures on the sides, standing atop the pillar scenes, are yalis, like they're mythological beasts, a mix of elephant, lions, and other animals, and they're known for their strength and often sculpted into pillars of South Indian temples. And below the main thing of the drawing is a trishul, which symbolizes Lord Shiva's power to destroy evil and ignorance. And below is the dandara drum attached below it, and this really shows like the balance and the cycles of the universe. And together, these symbols like captures the divine, protective and continuous nature of the universe as envisioned in the Hindu philosophy, and with its mixed with the temple architecture presented.
Thank you, Pranav. That's beautiful. And again, what a beautiful uh, composition with so many different elements put together into this very nice, cohesive piece. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, Pranav's done a nice job here also of combining the different elements that he's learned and then putting it all together in this kind of more of an architectural kind of composition. But it's nice to see that he, researched the idea and what the meaning of each of these forms are, and nicely presented it today for us to know what he came up with. And Pranav's done really well with his progress as well, considering, both him and Pranit have, very busy school schedules, but they always somehow make it for class, and they're very committed to learning. So I'm very happy to have both of them as students. Yeah, well done, Pranav.
Thank you, Mr. Veda.
We have one more piece by him. Yeah, Pranav, you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So the reason why I picked these piece was because I really like more like the architectural and like the detailed pieces that we learned in class. And this was just like a really interesting and profound piece to me. So a little explanation about this piece is this is like a traditional like Rangoli and mandala design, which holds like a sacred place in our customs. So this piece shows like the meditation of symmetry and spirituality, with like each line like radiating from the center, symbolizing the universe and the interconnectedness of life. So this like employed traditional motifs such as pesos, which are embolic of life and eternity, and delicate swirls represent the flow of time. Leaf-like patterns intertwined throughout, symbolizing growth and prosperity. And the composition is a careful balance between complexity and tranquility, inviting the viewer to inviting you guys to ponder and celebrate the intricate beauty of existence. So that was just what I thought about when looking at this piece, and I really like drawing this piece in class.
Thank you, Pranav. And it reminds me of Srivatsa again. And despite three of them having covered the same topic, it still looks so different because each of them put in their own ideas and concepts to create their own piece. So well done, Pranav. And I'm reading some of the comments, and they're saying such wisdom at an early age, super presentation and confidence. Thank you for all of that.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, and especially like to thank you guys, Deepthi and Mr. Devaveda, along with my fellow classmates, and especially Praneet for pushing me to this class.
Nice, thank you, Pranav. Yeah, that's really well done, and I like the description that you gave. It's almost like an essay, well thought out and very well presented. So good job.
Thank you.
He is in the mode of writing college essays these days. So. And that brings us to our last presenter for today, Pranit.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing really well today or tonight, depending on where you are. And first, I'd really like to thank Miss Deepthi for organizing this because it's been a great event so far, and it's been a joy to see all the other classmates present their work. And I'd really like to thank Mr. Druda for being so patient with me and my brother, especially because we didn't have any experience into art before we got into this, but he's been really patient with giving us feedback, and it's really helped us like progress as artists. So when we first got introduced to this project, I was a little lost because I was not very connected to my culture as much as the other students, and I didn't know where to start. But like in my family, like my parents have always like related me to Muruga, which is like also his name is also Kartikeya. So I thought to make that the theme of my piece. And since during the time of this project, it was around college app season, I used that to be like one of the other themes of my piece because in Western and Eastern media, oftentimes your mind is often characterized to be like a still floating like lake with absolutely like no like other like distractions. So I chose to make that the scenario and the landscape of my piece, and I made it a still floating lake with flower petals and a peacock, which is Muruga's Vahana. And Muruga's Vahana basically represents and symbolizes the destruction of bad habits and bad feelings. And in its mouth, it's carrying Muruga's Shakti weapon, which for me was almost like a tool of my mind, like my willpower that is in my mind to like push me through like the college app season, especially since it was such a hard time for me. And I generally just used a bunch of colors to show how vibrant my mind was, and I like drew these clouds in a manner that we were taught in this class because one of the very first lessons we learned was how we learned to draw curves and these shapes, and I chose to include that in my drawing.
Beautiful, Pranit, and how nicely explained about the Ayuda. I mean, you know, talking personal, or let me say, composing a painting based on what's going on internally is one of the greatest gifts that an artist has, to be able to narrate a pictorial representation or a story of what is going on in their mind. And that's why we say practicing any kind of Indian classical or folk arts help a lot with, mental health. And you're just like, you've just explained that so beautifully. Wonderful. Love it. Love your composition. And more than that, I love the explanation that you had as to why you had the Ayuda drawn the way you did. Wonderful. Love it.
Yeah, that was really great, Pranit, being able to communicate beside the meaning behind the symbolism, the spiritual meaning. You're also able to express your own feelings, your emotions that you put into the work, and what you were going through, which not all of us get to know about the struggles of, day-to-day life and life as an artist, a creative person. So you've done that really well, and you've been a very dedicated student, and the composition is also very nicely laid out with the colors. And both you and Pranav were also very receptive to my to my feedback, which is very nice. So you made quite a lot of changes and updates to the artwork, and I think it's come out really, really well. And I think it's a very important thing that maybe we didn't talk about too much yet, is being able to communicate your ideas, either through the art form itself or through your words. And both you and Pranav have done a really great job of that, being able to talk about the art, the meaning behind it, and also what you're going through to create that art. So yeah, well done to both of you.
Absolutely. Let me go to the last piece here. This one. And I must tell you, Pranit had already submitted the two pictures a week back. And today he sent a message saying that, Deepthi, I made changes and would you please update the pictures? And I did, and when I saw the updated picture, I was like, oh, now I know why he really wanted me to make the updates. They are much brighter and much nicely laid out now. Please go ahead, Pranit.
Thank you. So, just like an earlier student, I believe it was Amrita, I also chose to include my Hamsa project. And basically, the project entailed that we could use Hamzas in any way to, in any composition, just we had to use them and express them in any way we wanted to. And I think the timing of this project was around February. And February 14th in the United States is Valentine's Day, which is why I chose to make it thematically like around love, which is why the two swans meeting together make a heart in the middle, and the colors also reflect the idea of love, which is like pink, white, and red. And I use this the Hamza to represent it because Hamzas are usually represent purity and affection and love, and I thought it'd just be a great way to showcase all the things that my teacher taught me.
Very nice. Indeed, it is a great way to represent, and this is the modern twist to the ancient art. Uh, Beautiful, very nice composition, and yeah, the symmetry is just perfect. It's spot on. Well done on that.
Yeah, and I was also going to
Thank
say it would make a great Valentine's card whenever you get to that point, Praneet. Yeah, very nicely done. The colors are nice, the composition, and you've added that element of symmetry by having the two swans facing each other. And yeah, I didn't know about the Valentine twist, but that's really nicely thought out.
Thank you, Pranit. And I'm going to stop the share now. All right, we would open the floor for any questions that you might have. Anything anybody would like to ask?
Yes, I have.
Please go ahead.
So how is it? How do you feel? I mean, one of your maybe Lavanya or Archana or somebody, like, how do you see yourself when you started and now? What do you think what exactly you have a sense of achievement, or not just in terms of art, because you've explained it so well. So there are so many other things our guru has taught. So how do you feel about it? How is your journey been? Maybe Lavanya, you can go first.
Sure. So it has been great to work on any of the pieces which Drida teaches us in the class. It's not only it not only helps me learn the art form, but also it takes me closer to understanding the meaning of each. For example, when I was learning about weapons from Drida, the meaning of each weapon, which I haven't known before, I learned a lot. Like the Pasha weapon or the Trishula. Trishula, I knew a little bit about Trishula, but I learned a lot more learning this art form. And I never knew about the Pasha weapon is also held by Ganesha before. Now that I know about it, when I go to a temple, I see it in his hand and I can recognize it. And I also can tell my family and friends. And also to add to it, learning this art form has also been a great spiritual journey. Like my mom always says, like, when you're working on this kind of art form, it's like when we're doing a puja or prayer, we just spend 10-15 minutes or half an hour, whatever time, doing that prayer, but you are actually spending that time in like going over each and every small detail in the face or their crown or their weapons or anything, which is a lot more deeper, and it also gives me a lot of peace and break from all the stressful day-to-day things.
Thank
So
you, Lavanya. Thank you.
and I have been learning a lot of doing a lot of curvy things more quicker than before from last year when I started. So it's good.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Archana, would you love to share? Like how?
Yeah, Yes,
transformative.
Shilpa. Like every time Dhruda starts on a topic, like currently we were all learning the Mukutas. So any Mukuta or any topic that he comes, like when we start drawing it, especially me, it gives me like, okay, what was the idea behind this? Why are they doing such a thing? So always you go back, you Google around the topic and you're learning so much. And the knowledge I've been gaining on each and every topic that Dhruda has been teaching is, it's like never ending. You want to read, okay, this is connected to this. Okay, what else is going on? So you're just building on and on whatever you're learning. So that has been really great. um, what it makes you do is like people in the past have been doing so much better than how we are right now. So, and how to incorporate both and how far we've come away from that. And now we're again learning the same things, you want to preserve it. So it all goes back and back and you want to learn and the details in all those things. And it's not easy to, by drawing on paper, okay, you can erase and do it, but people are actually sculpting it on wood and stones.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it. It's truly magical, but every time you learn about something, you read about something, and how they are doing it is really mesmerizing. So the knowledge I've gained from everything is like really, really immense, I would say. So every time it invokes you, okay, let me go read about it. Let me go and do this. A lot of research goes on for me, basically.
Nice to hear. And I have this question for Pranav too. I mean, since I guess you have your school here and you're based out of here, now that when you go to India and when you see the temples, how do you relate to it after learning Shilpa Shastra?
That's a great question. So, when I go to the temples before, like I looked at the art and I always thought it was like they're very beautiful and not much. I didn't think much of it, but now when I go to the temple, I really think, wow, I've drawn that during class, and it really makes me realize like it gives me deeper appreciation for the artists that have done these pieces, and it shows like the intricate details that are included in each piece, and it really just connects me more to my culture, and it connects me more spiritually.
Thank you, Pranav. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you, Supraja, for your question and for making them talk about all these important things.
Yeah.
Any other questions or any observations? I'm seeing all the wonderful comments that are coming in the chat window, but if anybody would like to unmute and say something, we are about.
I was just going to make a quick
Dipti.
comment, Deepti. So I
Go ahead.
wanted to talk a little bit about how generally we think that only the student is learning through this process. And I do also want to mention that the teacher is also learning throughout this, because oftentimes you'll get these quite challenging questions from the students, very thoughtful questions. And that also makes you think, well, you look back at a little bit at why you learned this and what's the meaning behind it and how do you do these different techniques. So it's a learning process for both the teacher and the student. You're also learning how to best present to the student, how to make them understand the subject matter better. And you're going through this journey together, actually. And I find that really rewarding as a teacher to see that we're both sort of progressing together. I'm learning how to teach better and learning my subject better, and the students, watching the students progress at what I'm offering them is also very rewarding as a teacher. So I'm very happy to have gone through this journey together with all of you and see your progress.
Thank you, Drilha. That is very nice of you to mention that. Meenaji, you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for exhibiting this, and Supraja and Dipti for bringing this virtually. And really, I wanted to learn this temple art for a long time, and bringing through I've done a few workshops with him. unfortunately, I couldn't continue with these long-term plans, but whenever I have time, I jump in. But you guys are so dedicated, and I think this is almost like the Arangetram of of the arts, you know. So I really credit all the artists and Archana and Lavanya and Pranav and Pranit. I'm sorry I missed some starting, but when I came, I saw Archana's work. I don't know if I missed anything before that.
Amrita's work is also in the show, and we would again share
I'll see the
link.
recording. Okay, I'll catch up on
Yeah,
that.
and there is a link, there is a web link wherein all the artworks would be at display till the end of tomorrow. We're going to
Oh,
have,
nice.
it is a 2-day show, and there are also some pictures of the corrections and how students submit the artwork and what corrections are given to them. So you'd see some few samples of that as well towards the end of the
Yeah.
page.
And I give credit to Dipti and Supraja for really making this so interesting every time you'll raise a bar, both of you.
Thank you very much, Meenaji. Very kind of you.
Deepthi, Meenaji has given us a new title, Art Arangetram now.
Actually, yeah, that's an interesting one. There is one question for Pranit. Pranit, could you talk a little more about the significance of the title of the piece called Peacock Shakti Ayudha?
When I was thinking, I couldn't come up with anything that was really cohesive. All of it's
Pranit, there is a little bit of glitch.
just
There is a little bit of audio glitch. Are you and Pranav in the same place, in the same room?
no,
Would you be able to go close to him, because his audio was working fine, if it is all right. Otherwise you can type it, because the audio suddenly started glitching. It was fine all this while, it just started glitching now. All right, we'll just wait for him to get there. Anybody else, any questions in the meantime? We go over time always, Radha, don't we? This is like the good luck charm that we have for
That's all
all
right.
our workshops. Every time we go over time.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you for that question again. I didn't really have a conception of how to title the piece that like involved and encompassed every single element involved. So I kind of went quite literal with the name of the piece. So I just described what was going on and what I drew specifically, which was a peacock holding a Shakti Ayudha, which is why I titled it Peacock Shakti Ayudha. Thank you for the question.
You should have made the first part in Sanskrit, so it would have been Mayura Shakti Ayudha. Then it would have
Yeah.
been a nice,
Yeah.
Right. All right, everyone. Any last thoughts before we wind up?
Maybe, I mean, I'm Hari here. I have a purely a different question. I don't know whether it is totally relevant, but I really enjoyed everyone's art. I mean, I'm really surprised, like everyone is learning these things. And I mean, maybe I'm totally new, but I'm really enjoyed everyone's art. I have a question, like, I mean, from these arts, like I heard someone saying we could actually bring meditation, or from these arts, you could really showcase that meditation approach. So is there a form that from these arts, we can actually bring in meditation by looking at these arts and showing the form of them and explaining them and try to bring some kind of uh, meditation program, like the sound meditation, like maybe is it an art meditation or something? I was just thinking something when everyone is explaining, looking at such a art, you could really meditate and have your own space and think a lot. So
maybe I don't know. I mean, I was just thought of asking that question to Guru and all the students. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Sure, Dridha, you want to take that?
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if I understood it right, but the answer that I had was, I mean, the art form itself is a type of meditation. So like some of the students, you heard them say that they can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my mic just got disconnected. So yeah, you heard some of the students say how they go into this kind of meditative feeling when they're working on the art. It takes them into like a state of not knowing what they're doing or where they are, or the time. And that's something that most artists experience, especially the traditional artists, because you really have to the whole process itself is very meditative. You start with these descriptions, usually from dhyana shlokas, which are descriptive verses. And then you meditate on all these different elements that go into making this form. And a lot of them have spiritual significance. So the whole, context behind it is very meditative itself. So when you're while you're going through this whole process, it is kind of a form of meditation. You're meditating on the form that you're working on. You go into a sort of trance while you're doing the process of making it. And then after making a finished piece, you're connecting the viewer or your audience to that art form. So there's an interaction between the art form that you've created and the viewer. In the case of a tempo form or a deity, there's an interaction between the devotee who's coming to see that deity form and the deity form that's been created by the artist. So this is like the whole process of how this art form works and how it has this kind of meditative feeling to the whole process. I hope that answered most of your question.
Yes, Dhrida. I think, I mean, I was trying to ask, I think that's close to what I'm looking for. I think that's what you're explaining, the meditation, all the process that for the artists follow. I was like, even trying to see if there are any like sequence of arts that anyone can just use it in as they are doing a meditation, and that actually helps them to go in a kind of a process on a daily routine, like looking at all these images and trying to meditate looking at those images, or the understanding that all the inner meaning of those images. So that's something I was trying to get
Okay,
into.
I got you. Yeah, I would say most of the elements that we learn you could use as a meditation on a daily basis, but I think the more popular ones would be the more geometric shapes, like mandalas. Mandalas you see are used very often in meditation classes, or used as meditative tools, because they really, like, you really have to be focused in on the different geometric shapes and things. But yeah, almost any of these elements that we've learned you could use to meditate on, or just practice on a daily basis.
And I would just quickly add to that, Hari, a great question. As an artist and a person who is an enthusiast of meditation, meditation basically is just invoking your inner consciousness. And mostly it is done with your eyes closed. But for an artist, doing the same pattern over and over again in repetition makes you get into a trance. Even though your eyes are open, you are able to see the pencil and the paper that you're drawing on. You are not there at that moment after a certain period of time if there is no external noise to disturb you. That to me is meditation. So it doesn't have to be a very skilled artist to be able to attain that that particular stance or that particular situation. Anybody who has that interest and that willingness and that zest to keep going and to keep bettering their art, and if they practice on a daily basis, there comes a point where when you are drawing, you are not correcting anything, you are just going one after the other. Even in Shilpa Shastra and in most of the folk art forms, the art style itself is of repetitive nature. If you see the borders, if you see the clothing, the ayuda, the details, they are very repetitive in nature. You don't have to do thinking much. You just have to get lost in the action, in the motion, in the brain somehow works in a way that you don't have to do any active thinking to repeat the pattern. And that is when you attain that state of enlightening your consciousness, and that is meditation. So I don't know if that
I
answered your
think, no, I
question.
think that really explains. Thank you, Deepti. Thank you, Drida. I mean, this is really a great learning for me. So I'm hoping to join your class one day. So once I am free from all my other things, but yeah, it's really good learning for me. Thank you both of you.
Thank you, Hari. Nice question. Very very interesting and thoughtful.
Yeah.
All right. I think in the interest of time, we should wind this up because this can go on for a couple of more hours. Thank you so much, everyone, for making it so enriching. And even though it was very, very last moment, I am very glad for your presence today, and very grateful to each one of you for being present, for the artists for taking time out to create compositions, because just 1 year into the program, it is not easy for a person to create their own composition. We are still learning the skill and the technique of it. But to be able to do the creative stimulation and create your own compositions to an extent that you can present, and such wonderful meaning behind every piece that you have created. The presentation, the explanation, the content, everything was par excellence. So thank you so much, and all credit goes to the Guru. Dridha, you are a gem, and we are very glad to have found you. We'll keep doing this great work that we are doing together, and hopefully we'll be able to touch many, many more lives, and we would be able to bring Indian ancient art to the forefront of the global art scene.
Thank you, Deepti. And yeah, all credit goes to you also for, providing this platform to learn this traditional art form through the internet, and everybody's in different countries and different time zones, but somehow one thing is bringing everybody together, and that's this art form. So I was quite surprised when I first met Deepti and saw how much she was doing with traditional, her Madhubani style of art, being in the US, but really pushing it and promoting it so much in the West. It's amazing. I haven't seen anything like that before. So yeah, great to have a collaboration with you, and thank you all to the students for being so enthusiastic and dedicated and committed, and making it up for the classes and continuing so far for this whole year. And I hope that we'll get through this whole course, and you'll all be experienced Shilpa Shastra practitioners and hopefully teachers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We have the show on till tomorrow. Feel free to share it with your friends and family, and encourage them to sign the guest book. We would share all the nice, kind comments that we've received with all the artists, and we'll put some on for everybody to see. Thank you so much for coming today. Really appreciate your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you, Drida.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.